Water is a basic human right. All life on this planet depends on water. Consequential decisions on our natural resources happen in these places like the state legislature, where changes of a few words, a few sentences can alter concepts and policies that have been in place for hundreds of years and change them to a point where people and wildlife are harmed.
Of all the issues that may be partisan in the State House, water is an upstream, downstream issue. You can get people to work together regardless of what party, regardless of what part of the state. If you're talking about water and how it will affect their community, they will come together with people of the other side of the aisle.
We were very focused on one thing, making sure that the waters of the state of Georgia would always be a public resource available for reasonable, safe use by humans, and there also for wildlife and the aquatic species that depend on these waterways. We had some basic principles, and we said that if you believe that these waters are a shared common resource to be used reasonably by all, to be shared, and in tough times for everybody to sort of pull back as necessary, then come with us and join us. What you see today, 20 years later, is an amazing, I think, and hugely successful alliance of people who have come to trust each other. They have all found common ground, and together we've won some really incredible battles for Georgia's waterways.
Georgia's the largest state east of the Mississippi. It's incredibly culturally diverse, no matter what the rest of the country thinks about us. And it's geographically diverse, politically diverse, hydrologically diverse, biologically diverse. It's just not a simple place. Conservation in Georgia is not one thing. It's like a whole bunch of different things. And so this notion of smaller groups scattered around Georgia joining together as a coalition and becoming a powerful entity at the Capitol, having smaller groups be able to bring their local issue into the discussion, and lo and behold, my goodness, this is actually a statewide policy issue.
You know, oftentimes things are done by the Water Coalition that wouldn't be done by me in the way we do them. If I were doing it.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. We can accomplish so much more as a group than we can as an individual.
There are countries and places where the water has been privatized, and it's created markets where giant volumes of water and entire rivers have been sold to corporate interests. Just let your mind run wild with that. When we preserve the nature of water ownership in Georgia, that's huge. I mean, if that's the only thing we had ever done.
When you're down at the Capitol under like the gun and you're going, I need so-and-so's vote on the coast. And then you go through the Water Coalition membership and see who you can get on the phone, who has a group on the coast to call their senator. And it works. It's worked again and again.
It feels like magic when it's happening, but it's not magic. It's just hard work. Along with the other, policy responsibilities we've taken on, we've taken on some spiritual responsibilities, in my opinion, to be able to inspire younger folks to want to do this work.
Climate change is already impacting Georgia, and I think that no matter where you are in the state, you can point out some examples of how it's showing up. I started out in the environmental movement because you just had this problem looming over everything on this planet. Nothing else is going to matter if we can't live here. But one thing was pretty consistent, that if I went to a primarily environmental organization, there were not a lot of people of color in that room. As a result, the conversation wasn't as well-rounded as it could be. People who come from different racial backgrounds, they have a lot of different experiences that inform how they see the world. So if we're not doing a good job connecting the solutions to what people feel like is really urgent, then we're not going to get that wave of action that we need. That's why it's important to have multiple people in the room from different backgrounds who can help connect the dots. The Georgia Water Coalition is a crowd of amazing people. There are hunters, there are fishers, farmers, city folk, right? Like it's wonderful. And that's my favorite part about being there is it seems like every day we're getting new people into the fold and we're getting more diverse voices, which is something that the coalition is really focusing on. Making sure that everybody knows that their water issues matter and we want to hear those issues and if we can help move those issues forward.
Persistence is the word I've used throughout my career. Sometimes it's dogged, sometimes relentless, but you've got to stay the course. You've got to keep giving voice to voiceless rivers. Young people are coming along to pick up the pieces that us oldsters kind of threw out there and galvanized. The fact is the coalition will always need to be here. In this world we live in, there are too many threats and influences that could harm our precious rivers. There's no greater feeling than handing off something you're passionate about to people that you know care as much and that will take it forward. Be proud to be called relentless. You've got to get out on those rivers, hike those trails, run the ridges, run the rivers.